Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, great. I'm projecting 1 second. Yeah, we stopped here in Sonakshepa, I think. Yeah, it's quite a text. Yeah. You know the story of Shunakshepa, most probably. It's very famous
Well, no, I don't actually.
in the Rig Veda. In Puranas and Mahabharata.
Yeah, and so no, so that story is it, I don't know, so I'll have to look it up.
I think it's a symbolic story, but symbolism is very difficult to see here, unless, of course, one has a deeper sense of ritual and sacrifice. Maybe we should read this story to this. It would be valuable for us to figure out. I will find it in somewhere in the coherent manner. Because stories differ from Rig Veda. Actually, in Rig Veda, we don't find it, only allusions here and there. But what we find is in Brahmanas, yeah, Aitareya Brahmana and Puranas later, and also Mahabharata. Here it is, I think. We can take Shunakshepa here. Who is this Shunakshepa? Okay, let's start with mantra. We don't see others coming, but maybe they will come later. We are too early, I guess. Let me call Siv. We have rain. We're already closer to winter. It's already dark totally, 6 o'clock. Too much to the north.
Yes, and just so you know, on the weekend of November 2, 3, 4 is the change, the end of daylight savings time in the U.S. But so now, do you have any time change coming soon?
We will, yeah.
When is yours?
I think it's already done or something.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's a change for us in the U.S., not for you. So I will be alert and able to
Yeah, we will drift to it.
Yeah,
definitely. It's not the first time, yeah. It's not our first rodeo, as they say in America. How is there in America? Yeah, I received your money, so much money. I'm very, very, very grateful. Truly speaking, you are my savior, because nobody.
Well, I realize that the number of students has dwindled, and this is not the greatest time for that. So.
Right. So it's yes. What was I saying?
Not the first rodeo. Yeah.
Right. How is the political life in U.S.?
Oh, well, we're holding our breath. We have a election November 6th. and for the not for president, but what they call midterms. And so there, of course, all sorts of statements are getting flung here and there in the media, but it's a little bit strange because we haven't had someone who sounds like Trump in the president's office before. So it's a little hard to know what to think.
Putin is proposing to meet with Trump in Paris.
Yeah. Well, so as in the ages past, the Persian astrologers in particular paid attention to these cycles of Jupiter and Saturn of 20 years, 120, 240, and so forth. Well, U.S. began 240 years ago, 1776, whatever, and that's a great dynasty cycle. There's a reason that the historians paid attention to that when you looked at kings, and then they would have children, and then it get a little diluted by the third or fourth generation. Well, we don't have a king, but this government lasted a long time. What next? It's will the U.S. renew itself and continue to function in somewhat of a civilized fashion? So hopefully, yes.
Yeah, it's a weird time. Putin was threatening again with his jokes about nuclear war.
No, well, so was
Trump.
Trump. The latest, about an hour ago, headlines that the Secret Service intercepted bombs in the mail that were to go to Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and then I think yesterday it was one of the businessmen who contributes to political causes, George Soros. Not sophisticated bombs, but nonetheless, bombs being sent through the mail. So how to interpret this when we have,
incredible.
Yeah. And then, I guess, so it's, theater. Is it theater? What is behind this? It's very uneasy feeling.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah. It's like we're used to Russia being like this.
I heard another opinion that actually Obama made it very easy for Russia for this, gin to be released. It had to be suppressed. It had to be kept under control. There had to be always control. That's some of Republicans think in that way, and it was made easy for Putin to be. He was not punished for his wars. He was not punished for his what he did in Ukraine, in Syria. Never. Everything went easy for him. So now it's very difficult to bring this, criminal back into control. He has enough money to do any mischief. That's enough. Yeah. And he doesn't care about his people, and his people don't care about that. He doesn't care. So it's working for him. Yeah, he can use these resources for whatever. In the US, there are no such free resources. You are a democratic country, after all. You will have to have a budget for things. You have much more money, but you have to go through many agreements. In his case, he can use any money, anytime. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, it's so So at any rate, I will do my part on November 6th. I have signed up to work at what they call the precinct, the local place where people come to vote.
Oh,
So
right.
I do my little bit to see that the ballots get stuffed to the box.
Okay.
Only the ones that only the proper ones,
Right.
So
Otherwise, you will help them to choose. Yeah?
yeah,
Not a lot. Yeah, it's not a lot. Okay, great. Let us then today do this Shunach story and see
sure.
what is going on with our Shunach
All right.
So Shunach here we have this beautiful verse. Shunach niditam sahasrat yupada muncho ashamishtaishach. So Shunach too had of delight. That's how Sri Aurobindo translates his name. Literally, it's if you translate literally from the dictionary, it will be something else. Shunach is of the dog, and Shepa is it is Shepa, yeah, is the tail of the dog. Or sometimes even the phallic symbol, phallus of the dog. So quite a name, yeah, which is the name of the rishi, quite difficult to call like this. But Sri Aurobindo gives totally different. Look at this, head of delight, because Shepa is as the phallic symbol is also the organ of delight.
Yeah.
Behind there is this perception of delight and not anything else. And Shunach can be not the dog but the head. Quite interesting. The one who is in front of delight. Was bound to the thousandfold post of the sacrifice. Him thou didst release, yea, he accomplished perfection by his works. So do thou take thy seat here in us, O conscious seeing flame, O priest of our sacrifice, and loose from us the cords of our bondage. Now, what Shunach did was really amazing. He was substituted for another son of the king to be sacrificed to Varuna. And nobody wanted to touch him. He was substituted, he was taken from his father, the middle son, because his father received a gift from the king to substitute his prince for the son of the Brahmin to sacrifice to Varuna. We will read the story. It would be better to read with details. Yeah, it's a small story. We will take it from Wikipedia, which is quite okay. Let me see. Here it is. So Shunach also transliterated as Shunach, is legendary sage mentioned in the Indian epics and mythology. A number of passages in Rig Veda are attributed to him. He was adopted by the sage Vishwamitra. At the end, yes, he was adopted and given this new name, Devarata, means offered to the gods, or to the god. According to a legend, Shunach was chosen to be sacrificed in a ritual, but was saved after praying to Rigvedic deities. He was praying to the dawn, and she released him. The earliest extant text to mention this legend is Aitareya Brahmana of Rigveda. The story is repeated in Balakanda of Valmiki Ramayana, and several other texts borrow the story, include Shankhayana Shrauta Sutra, Baudhayana Shrauta Sutra, Puranas. So Aitareya Brahmana legend, this is the major legend. So King Harishchandra of Ikshvaku dynasty, of the solar dynasty, had 100 wives, but no son. So on advice of the sage Narada, he prayed to the deity Varuna for a son. Varuna granted the boon in exchange for an assurance that Harishchandra would make a sacrifice to Varuna in the future. As a result of this boon, a son named Rohita or Rohitashva was born to the king. After his birth, Varuna came to Harishchandra and demanded that the child be sacrificed to him. The king postponed the sacrifice multiple times, citing various reasons, but finally agreed to it when Rohita became an adult. But Rohita refused to be sacrificed and escaped to the forest. So an angry Varuna afflicted Harishchandra with a stomach illness. Rohita visited his father, but on advice of Indra, never agreed to the sacrifice. In the 6th year of wandering in the forest, Rohita met a starving Brahmin named Ajigartha and a descendant of Angiras rishis. Ajigartha had 3 sons. Rohita offered Ajigartha 100 cows in exchange for one of his sons to be sacrificed to Varuna in his place. Ajigartha agreed to the offer. He didn't want his eldest son to be sacrificed, and his wife didn't want their youngest son to be sacrificed. So Shunakshepa, the middle son, was chosen for the sacrifice. It's usually the middle son which suffers most, yes?
Yeah.
Quite interesting. Rohita then gave 100 cows to Ajigartha and took Shunakshepa and Ajigartha to the royal palace. Varuna agreed to the replacement on the basis that Brahmin was a worthy substitute for a Kshatriya. King Harishchandra combined the sacrifice with his own Rajasuya ceremony. 4 priests were called to conduct the sacrifice. Ayasya Rishi as Udgatri, singing Samaveda hymns. Jamadagni became Adhvaryu of the Yajurveda, and Vasishtha, the Brahman, was conducting from the point of view of Atharva Veda, and Vishwamitra was the Hotar, the Rigvedin, reading from Rigveda. However, all of them refused to bind Shunakshepa to sacrificial post. Ajigartha then offered to bind his son for another 100 cows. Give me 100 cows and I will bind him. Clever, huh? Ajigartha. Well, these are symbolic figures, of course, but it sounds very selfish from the point of view of the father. Rohita accepted the offer and Ajigartha bound Shunakshepa to the post. However, the priest refused to slaughter him. Ajigartha then offered to sacrifice his own son in exchange for another 100 cows. So it's already 300. The prince agreed to his demand. So as Ajigartha readied to kill his own son, Shunakshepa prayed to the Rigvedic deities. That's why how he was buying time. Yeah? With his last hymn, which invoked Ushas, the deity of dawn, his bounds were loosened, and King Harishchandra was also cured of his illness. It was all about illness of the king Harishchandra, all this trouble. So Vishwamitra, one of the priests, offered to adopt Shunakshepa as his eldest son, reviling his own father, Ajigartha, as a Shudra. Shunakshepa agreed. Vishwamitra gave him the name Devarata, deity given. Half of Vishwamitra's sons, the younger ones, accepted Devarata as their elder brother, However, the elder ones refused to accept the adoption. This I don't remember. Vishwamitra then cursed their offspring to be exiled out of Aryavarta. According to the Aitareya Brahmana, the descendants of 50 sons included the Andharas, Mutibas, Pulindas, Pundras, and Shabaras, and the various Dasyas tribes. So these are the Andharas, Andhra Pradesh. They were cursed by Vishwamitra. His own offspring was cursed for this, that they didn't want to accept him as the son, as their brother. All this is very weird, sounds weird, yeah? But there are insights here, most probably. First of all, 300 cows to the father, and then he was released. He received 300 cows. He sold his son, actually, for money or for some kind of realization. 300 cows is it's an occult number. 3 times infinity, or infinity on all the levels of the mental, vital, and physical, or some kind of realization of higher power of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was put down and made Shudra. Quite interesting, yeah? So Shunashepa agreed to make him Shudra. Anyhow, this is a mysterious story, belongs to the period of this Vedic hymns of immortality, where, of course, here in the Rig Veda we can see he was tied to the 1,000 pillars, not to few pillars as it is in the story of Aitareya Brahmana, which shows that he was totally engaged into the natural material life and had to become free from it. You know? And here it is mentioned, he accomplished perfection by his works. His own prayer to the dawn, to the Divine Mother, made him free and cured Harishchandra, the king. So do thou take thy seat here in us, O conscious flame, O priest of our sacrifice, and loose from us the cords of our bondage. So it's this kind of an example, or the representative of the one who by the power of his own soul could invoke the Divine Mother and was freed, and the whole situation of sacrifice was, you know what I thought for the first time? I never could understand this Shunakshepa story till the end. But for the first time, I got a very interesting glimpse. He, as Yajamana, he was sacrificed as the body, as the bodies to the god Varuna, but as the soul, he called to the Divine Mother as the psychic being, as the Yajamana in the heart. He called to the Mother, and Mother freed him. I think this, and he was not sacrificed physically. Does it remind you something of Abraham trying to sacrifice his son?
Yeah, well, yeah.
And he heard the voice of God saying that you should give me the lamb pure white without any black spot, and I don't need the body, your son's life. It's very similar to this story. He was also freed. His body was not slaughtered, was not given to the deity, but he gave his soul to the Divine Mother and was freed. I think this is the shift of that major myth, which we have in this esoteric history. There are 2 great myths. One is that we were sacrificing our bodies, our vital, mental, and physical bodies to the divine, to become the divine. It was the ancient method of sacrifice. And then there was a shift to a new paradigm, to a new mythology, where the psychic being, the soul within the heart, became more prominent and was preferred to the sacrifice than any other form of the sacrifice. Just think for a second. So in the esoteric history, they speak about this. They say that the sacrifice of the heart with love, it's what is required now, and not of the body. So there are two major movements in our psychology. This is the love from the heart and the body, or the sexual power, the power of procreation, Kundalini Shakti, which is in the body. It's another agent, another force. So we have two major forces, the psychic in the heart and the Kundalini within the system, within the body. We have Vishnu, who is in the heart, born as a child, and Shiva, who is Shiva Lingam, rising from the depths of nature. And these two powers constitute our nature. So there was a shift from one cult, the cult of Shiva Lingam, Kundalini Shakti, all these, Lingam worshipping, golden bull in Israel. You remember how Moses was fighting against his own people who were worshipping golden bull and all these sexual orgies around. And he shifted them. He actually made another proposition to them, to love the divine instead of offering all these sacrifices of the body. So this is the case here with Shunach Shepa. I don't think we have anybody else so prominently showing this. If he would not worship the Divine Mother, I would not see this. Yeah, but Usha, the dawn, is the force of the Divine Mother reaching to the physical level, as Sri Aurobindo says. The dawn on the physical level. So the highest consciousness of the Divine Mother touches the material manifestation. And because of that, she released him from this bondage. Well, I said quite a lot, mouthful.
Yeah. Well, I thought it's also fascinating because in this story, then you have the of course, Shuna Shepa's then honored in a very, very great way, and yet then the others who are just merely bound to the tradition are demoted to Shudras.
Very interesting.
It's like where else does this happen? This isn't supposed to happen in the laws of Manu. You don't get demoted to a Shudra. You're born as a Shudra. So it upends the usual order of society, does it not?
Yes, and it is very rare. Of course, you can lose your varna. You cannot rise to another varna. It's very difficult to change varna up. It's easy to change varna down. Yeah, I suppose you do something which is not in accordance with your varna, you fall down. You will be outcast. Yeah, you will totally lose all your privileges and all your position. In one life, you can do it. There are many chandalas and all these who were Brahmins, but they did something, for example, killed some Brahmin or had improper relations, and that was casting them out from their position. What is interesting, it's what you notice is very, very valuable here, because that means the achievement of Shunakshapa was miraculous. How could he be freed from Varuna's promise? Varuna cannot let anyone go, you know. It's not an easy deity to get rid of. Why Vishwamitra afterwards accepted him as his son, you know, and gave him this luminous name, Devarata, you know, offered to the gods, and demanded his son to accept him as their brother. And they didn't want. This is also interesting. And he cursed them. And they were born as Dasyus later, as these anti-divine forces. It's quite an amazing to think in those. So Vishwamitra accepted this new cult. You know, he took it seriously. He saw the power of this change, yeah? Of the shift from one cult to another, from the cult of the sacrifice of the body to the cult of the worshipping with love from the soul. That is new gods. And this is a new cult. Yeah? Angirasa Rishis are representatives of these new gods. Okay, let's look into next verse. Hriniyamano apahimad ayech pramedevanam vratapa uvacha indrovidvan anuhitva chachaksha ne tena hamagni anushishta agam. When I was reading this about Indra, I just remembered that Indra suggested not to give in, yeah, for the son of the king to be sacrificed. He was ready to give himself for his father's sake. But Indra is a very interesting god. He belongs to these new gods. Indra is one of those new gods who are supporting the development of the soul. Varuna is the ancient god, but Indra and Maruts, they are new. Okay, mayst thou not grow wroth and depart from me. He who guards the law of action of the Godheads told me of thee, and taught by him his knowledge I came to thee. Griffith, thou hast sped from me, Agni, in thine anger. This, the protector of God's laws, hath told me. Indra, who knowest, bent his eye upon thee. By him instructed am I come, O Agni.
Okay, so I'm just trying to read it. I'm finding this one confusing.
Yeah, I understand. It is connected with the previous verse. If we continue, we can see, O conscious seeing flame, O priest of our sacrifice, loose from us the cords of our bondage. Shunakshapa was my Hariniyamana. This is the so don't be angry, yeah? And don't, so to say, don't go away from me. Pramedevanam vratapa uvacha, he who guards the law of action of the gods, vratapa devanam. he told me, uvacha me, prame uvacha. Yeah? He told me and taught by him, yeah? By him, his knowledge, I came to thee. Indro vidvan anuhitva chachaksha, and the Indra, the knowledgeable one, saw you or taught you, or saw you rather, and tenaham, by him I, or Agni, anushishta, taught, agam, I came taught, I become taught by the Indra. Now, this also, it's a very, oh, what a statement. Because Indra is the Godhead who comes from above. He is bringing uninvolved light of the sun. He is coming from Vishnu, from above. And Agni is rising from below. So we have something very unique here. He says to Agni that you sped from me in anger, so to say, you ran away from me in anger, as the protector of the gods' laws has told me. Who is the protector of the gods' laws? Is Indra. Indra, who knowest, bent his eye upon me. He looked upon me. By him instructed am I come, O Agni. So there was a problem with Agni in the sacrifice. Agni was not willing to accept it. And that is the most probably the reason why they were not doing it. They were kind of, he was demanding more and more cows, and the time, because there was no Agni, there was no way to do it really, the sacrifice. There was no aspiration to make it. Yeah. So Agni ran away somehow, and he asks him back because he was instructed by Indra. And Indra plays that role in that story. He really didn't want the sacrifice to take place, you remember, yeah? It's just mentioned that Indra was not in favor of the sacrifice. And it is clear why, because Indra was waiting, now I understand, Indra was waiting for the fire to be kindled in the heart, not in the body. There is another story where Agastya Rishi tries to go beyond to the unknown and dissolve himself in the spirit, and Indra stops him and tells him, why do you turn away from me? Why do you want to bypass me? I am your friend. And he says, I'm going to the Supreme. Why should I kind of care about you, as it were? And he says, if you bypass me and go to the Supreme, you will not be aware of your intention to know the Supreme, because there you will dissolve. You will stop to be. You will not be there anymore. That what you are here. Let us do, he says, let us kindle the fire, because that is amritasya chetanam, because this is the consciousness of immortality. Let us both do the sacrifice, me, Indra, and you, Agastya, yeah? And realize all your wishes for immortality here in the world. Again, Indra is the link. Yeah? Now here, Indra is instructing Shunakshepa to come to the fire in another fashion, not in the fashion of the old fire, not in the fashion of the Yajatra fire, the one who is of the sacrifice, but as Priya, as Idiya, as beloved one, as the one who is flaming in the heart. Yeah? This is what it is. Wow, it's a big thing. I didn't see this before because I didn't understand Shunakshepa truly, totally. Now all these bits and pieces come back together. Why Indra? Because Indra comes from above, Agni comes from below. For below, who went through many sacrifices of the body, it is quite a challenge. That's why he sped from me. He ran away from me in his anger. Agni was not happy with what was happening here. Yeah. And now he will be kindled again, but in another way, not to sacrifice the body, but to support the soul. He was instructed by Indra. There's a new possibility for Agni. Agni is changing its own substance, its own character. It becomes a force of the a light of the soul instead of the power in the body. Okay, Vijyotisha Brihata Bhati Agnir Avir Vishvani Kranute Mahitva Pradevich Mayach Sahate Durevach Shishite Shringe Rakshase Vinikshe. The flame of will shines out with the vast light of truth. Now he can flame again and makes all things manifest by the greatness of him. He overpowers the formations of knowledge and the undivine and of an evil movement. He sharpens his horns to gore the Rakshasa. Agni shines far and wide with lofty splendor, and by his greatness makes all things apparent. He conquers godless and malignant enchantments and sharpens both with horns to gore the Rakshas. Yeah. Now we have another weapon altogether. Shunakshepa brings altogether different Agni forward. The Agni of the heart, the Agni of the psychic being. And this power can really destroy all the Rakshasas and all the enchantments. It has the mighty consciousness of the Lord within. Yajamana is born from the heart. Vijyotisha Brihata Bhati Agnich, with vast Brihata Jyotisha, vast light, Bhati shines Agnich. Avir Vishvani Krenute, Avir Krenute, he makes all things, Vishvani, Mahitva, great. By his greatness, he manifests all things. He makes all things visible or manifested. Avich, open. Pradevich Mayach. Pra-Adevich Mayach, the powers of Adevich, of the undivine and evil movement, Shubinder says. They overpowers the formations of knowledge, Maya. Maya is the knowledge, that which forms the being. Adevich Mayach. without divine light, Sahate overpowers, becomes stronger. Durevach, those who lead in a wrong way, evil movements rather. And Shishite sharpens, Shringe, the horns, Rakshase, for the Rakshasa, Vinikshe, to be destroyed. So there are these mayas which are not charged with the divine light, which were offered to the sacrifice before by offering it to be killed, to be slaughtered, to be given. And together with the body, all these mayas, Adevi, should be pervaded by that light, yeah, of consciousness. Why the sacrifice was done? Because the gods could, or the divine powers could enter into this manifestation by partaking of this event. They could grant changes in the atmosphere. But there is now another way, not this way, not through the body, but with the soul, with the love of the soul. The force can come down and destroy and overpower all these enchantments on divine, anti-divine or undivine formations and movements. Here again, overpowers the formations of knowledge that are undivine and of evil movement. Again, knowledge and power of the undivine movement and knowledge. So it destroys them both. Okay.
Well, you just skipped a couple there. Are you looking ahead at something?
Yeah, I was looking how many because I forgot.
Yeah.
Here it is. There are 3 more. Uta svanaso divishantu Agni tigma yudha rakshase hantavau madechid asya prarujanti bhama navarante paribadho adevich, again adevich. May the voices of the flame in our heavens be sharp weaponed to slay the Rakshasa. Tigma yudha, sharp weaponed, Rakshase hantavau, to destroy Rakshasa, or the voices, svanasach. Utasvanasach divishantu, may they be in heaven of Agni's sharp weapons of Agni, our voices in heaven, to destroy the Rakshasa. Or our voices in the light of consciousness, Divi, in the light or in heaven. Madechid asya rujanti, prarujanti bhama. And the bhamas, or the beaming, or the lusters of light, rujanti, prarujanti, should break or break for the delight, madechit. Or in the ecstasy here, not for the ecstasy, but in the ecstasy, that's what he says. In the ecstasy, his angry lusters break all that opposes his advance. Made chid asya prarojanti bhama. The energies undivine, adevich, that obstruct us, paribadhah, from every side, cannot pen him in, navarante. They cannot withhold him, withstand him, the resisting anti-divine energies, his angry. There is no word angry here, but his lusters which are breaking forward in the ecstasy, Made. Loud in the heaven abode be Agni's roaring, with keen-edged weapons to destroy the demons. Forth burst his splendors in the Somos rapture. That is in the Somos rapture, in the ecstasy. Made. The godless bands press round, but cannot stay him. You see, it's nice usage of the language. One cannot stay him. Yeah? You will not say it anymore in English, most probably, to stay somebody. Yeah. We would use stand. I cannot stand here. Yeah? Not stay. Yeah.
Well, it's the usage still remains in imperative in English in our language we use with our dogs, because we say stay.
Right.
So yes, odd ways that things remain.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's understood. Yeah, the stay and stand are very closely related. In Sanskrit, it is the same word, tishtati. So they could not withstand his roars and his power, his sharp weapons, which are to kill Rakshasa. Etam te stomam tu vijata vipro rathamna dhirach suapa ataksham yadid agne pratitvam deva hariyach suvarvatich apaena jayema. O thou who art born in many forms, tu vijata, I illumined in mind, accomplished in understanding, dhirach, suapach, perfect in works. That is suapa, perfect in works. Illumined in mind, viprach, accomplished in understanding, dhirach, perfect in works, suapach, have fashioned for thee this song. Etam te stomam ataksham. Literally, ataksham, it's like the carpenter, uses chisel and chisels out of the wood. I created eyes with chisel this stoma, this affirmation of you, or born in many forms. I, Vipra, illumined in mind, or in it with ecstatic consciousness, trembling in ecstasy. Cut off this stoma as chariot, rathamna, as if chariot. Yeah? And this is this what I was always referring, that Rishi says that he creates this hymn as the chariot which will help him to rise in consciousness. So etam te stomam, this stoma, this affirmation of you for tuvijata, or born in many forms. I, Vipra, the ecstatic priest, Rathamna, as if the chariot, Dhirach, wise, Suapach, skillful, Ataksham, made this chariot. How do we say? Carpenter, what does he do? He
Carve, or carves, or
carves
or chisels.
He can create chariot somehow? No, only he makes the chariot. Yeah. cannot carve the chariot.
Well, but he has to, has to shape the wheels and form all of the wood that is and bind it that's going to go into the wheels. The wheels are the really, really critical part of a chariot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and it's one time um, I had the opportunity to study beside a black Pentecostal minister who was interested in astrology. And so this is one of these people who was brought up memorizing the Bible. So I said, okay, we're studying this history. So when, obviously chariots historically appeared, at a certain point. And so which books are the chariots in? And he said, you really don't see them until you get to the prophets like Daniel, which is very influenced by the Persians. That the images of chariots, they were not in the very ancient, in the first Pentateuch. The first 5 books don't have anything about chariots.
Right.
Yeah.
This is Indo-Iranian culture, which is actually older than Indo-Aryan.
Well, yeah, but it also they invaded Mesopotamia at a certain point and made their empire, and that was at that time that they were in contact with the Hebrews.
Correct, and the Greeks didn't see the horse before. Yes, it was for them a surprise. That's why they created this Centaurus, Centaurus,
right?
Because they never saw such a creature. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. So it's interesting here. I'm just thinking about that as we have our images of chariots and how they're used in the Vedas. They're of course they're very, very impressive even to the people who created them.
Right.
Used in the imagery.
Yeah. So in the second half, Yadid Agni Pratitvam Deva Haryah. If thou, Yadid, O strength, Agni, take an answering delight in it, Pratitvam Deva Haryah, by this we may conquer the waters that carry the light of the luminous heaven. Suvarvati, heavenly Apach waters, by this Jayema we may conquer. Griffith, as a skilled craftsman, let me shift it. As a skilled craftsman makes a car, a singer, I, mighty one, this hymn for thee have fashioned. If thou, Agni God, accept it gladly, may we obtain here, thereby, the heavenly waters. And if you accept Haryah, if you take Pratiharyah, if you will take this offering, accept it gladly, what we fashioned for you, this stoma, affirmation, as the carpenter creates the chariot, then may we obtain thereby the heavenly waters. May we rise and conquer the heavenly waters in this chariot. That's, I think, what is implied. By this we may conquer the waters that carry the light of the luminous heaven. Well, this is a big, big, big vision, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's fascinating how this is, instead of offering a body and an animal or whatever, here we're offering something that has been made, that's quote unquote chariot, but also they use the
Stoma, the word, yeah, the hymn.
song is used, the hymn that is fashioned the way a chariot would be fashioned. So very interesting poetry.
Right. Stoma itself from roots to actually it has the sense of this affirmation or establishment. Yeah, when we establish you within us, yeah, this establishment of you within us, if you, as a chariot, I created. So if you like this affirmation, yeah, if you accept it gladly, may we with it, with your power, of course, rise to heaven. Mm. This is the reformation of Agni, which was before not formatted into this particular chariot carrier. He didn't have this particular purpose, or as it were, he didn't have that power to focus the journey towards heaven yet. It was the power all over nature, but now it is focused because the force which is coming from the heart can reshape it and make it more precise, yeah, in its journey. So we can consciously use this power now, which is rising from below, and make it our helper and our engine. And the last verse, Tuvi grivo vrishabhova vridhana ashatru aryach samajati vedach etimamagnim amrita avochan barhishmate manavesharma yamsat havishmate manavesharma yamsat. The strong-necked vigrivach. Let me take it down. Oops, wrong. Okay. The strong-necked bull, Vigrivo Vrishabhach, increases in us Vavridhanach and drives to us. Ajati, the treasure of knowledge. Veda, that was withheld by our enemy. Ashatru Aryach, yeah? Ashatru Aryach, of our enemy. Vedas, the knowledge withheld by our enemy, nor is there any to destroy it. Ashatru. Ashatru sounds like without enemy. Arya. For so have the powers immortal spoken to the strength. Iti imam agnim amrita avochan. The immortals spoke thus to this Agni. Barhishmate manavesharma yamsat. That he worked out the peace for the man who enlarges the seat of the sacrifice. That he work out peace for the man who carries in his hand the oblation. So, barhishmate manave, to the man manave, who has barhis, who prepared within himself the space, who cleared up the space, who put the grass around. Yeah, barhis is a sacrificial grass which they put around the fire and invite gods to take their seat one by one. And Barhi is also this vastness. When we create within ourselves a vacant place, space, we clear up the temple and invite there the gods. Yeah? For the one who prepared himself for the transformation, Sharma Yam Sat. Yeah? Work out the peace or literally give out, or give the peace, or fashion the peace, or fashion the protection. Sri Aurobindo often translates Sharma as peace or peaceful protection. But the first meaning is protection. Create protection for the one who prepared himself for transformation. For the one who brings the offering, create the protection. Havishmate. It's by Sandhi Dhavishmate, but it is Havishmate, the one who has Havis, the offering. So this is the hymn. What a hymn, Vishunach Sheva. I really, every time I read, I discover something totally new. It's incredible.
I would say that one thing I'm thinking of here is we have this image of the strong-necked bull. Well, obviously here we're laboring away, we're understanding and translating, but well, my life experience of having been through the medical school, where there's just this sheer gigantic labor of learning and memorizing. I would I would read 1,000 pages every 3 weeks and take a test. And of course, but really the same kind of labor that the people who would learn the Vedas and be able to recite the
gigantic force. That's the
gigantic.
Force.
But it just I've never really thought of the strong neck bull as an image for that massive kind of accomplishment, but I think I like it.
Yeah, it's a powerful vision. The bull is always the Lord, the Master, the one who conceives life. I do not know why they chose this. Well, it's quite clear why. Yeah, and it is the male of this. Females are knowledge, the light of knowledge, cows, but the bull is the master of that knowledge. Great. All right. Yeah, let us read Griffith maybe. May he, the strong-necked steer, waxing in vigor, gather their foeman's wealth with none to check him. Thus to this Agni have the immortals spoken. To man who spreads the grass may he grant shelter to the man who brings oblation. He has this rhythm, poetic rhythm, Griffith. Yeah, it fits into the poetic rhythm. I like his translations, by the way, more than anyone's else. Great, so we stop here for today.
Can you wait 1 minute here? I just want to finish copying in my notebook
sure.
On the Griffiths. So
you have this file. You can.
Oh yes, I do. But you see, it's
far away.
When I copy by hand, then I remember it. Whereas the other is just a shadow in the computer.
Sure.
I'm just old-fashioned that way.
No, it works better, yes, for memory, definitely.
Okay, I'm done now.
All right, I'm closing with the mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. All right. See you then. Yeah.
Okay. And goodbye.
Yeah. Bye.